everyone, it's Sarah from Sassy Reads, and I thought I would do a new 2022 horror releases book vlog. I have gotten a lot of new 2022 releases that I've acquired, whether that's e-arcs or physical copies that I've bought. I'm currently not buying books right now, but I did purchase some in January, February, and of course I've done pre-orders. But last night I was like, I'm ready to hopefully my phone will stay. I don't really have a setup. I need a tripod or something. Hopefully that's good now. Sorry for the shaky cam. But anyway, so last night I was like, yeah, let me just start reading some of the 2022 horror releases that I'm excited about. I think I want to do either 3 for this one or 4. I don't know yet. But I just want to check in and let you know hey, these are good. This is what I'm reading. I had made a video in January, posted that. I made a TBR in February of women in horror books that I want to read, but I didn't like how it turned out, so I think I'm gonna refilm that one and just kind of keep you updated on my women in horror goals, because I love reading horror novels by women, and we should all be doing that. And last month in March it was Women in Horror Month, which it used to be in February, but they moved it, I think within the last year or this year actually. But anyway, so I figured I would hop in while I have some free time before a meeting and tell you about the newest release that I'm reading called Sundial by Catriona Ward. So yeah, this is Sundial. This cover, beautiful. The insides, this is currently where I'm at. I'm on page, I think 29 or something. This is what the book looks like. And then you got bright bubblegum pink. It's gorgeous, stunning. Honestly, if we're talking about purchasing hardbacks for aesthetic purposes, this one is a great example of a hardback to purchase. Beautiful, stunning. I have read Catriona Ward's novel The Last House on Needless Street. I read that one, I think I finished it either in October or November last year. Great book, really interesting, super good twist, very fascinating story. And so I am definitely interested in reading more from Catriona Ward, because I feel like she has a very intense, gritty, psychologically meandering and reflective writing style in the horror genre that I don't see often. So I am curious about picking up more of her stuff, and this is her newest release, Sundial, which is, from what I'm gathering so far, with only reading the first chapter, we follow a woman named Rob, and Rob is a mother of 2. She has 2 little girls, and she's married, and her life is all about suburban living. She is a elementary teacher, and her husband is cheating on her, and she knows that her husband is cheating on her because her little girl got chickenpox, and she hates her husband and she wants to leave, but the only reason she doesn't is because they have these old-fashioned beliefs, and they keep talking about this place called Sundial in the desert. So I'm assuming, based off of what little gatherings I've had so far, that she grew up kind of in this cult-like desert society called Sundial. And I think she is going to go back with her children. One of her children she does not have a good connection with, and there's a lot of tension there. And the child is weird. I'm weird, but she's got emerging serial killer weird vibes. She talks about crime all the time, which there's nothing wrong with that. I like a good crime conversation too, but dead animals are popping up in the neighborhood. I don't think anyone's put together that this little girl is probably the one doing it, and I don't even know if the little girl is the one doing it, but that's my prediction, just because based off of the first chapter alone, I'm little girl's giving creepy kid vibes. So that's Sundial so far. Do I have an opinion yet? No. The writing style is okay. It's very much reminiscent of Ward's other novel that I read, so it's not a bad time, but it is not gripping me. I'm not flying through it or anything. I'm kind of like meandering through it. It's a very slow pace, but I am hoping to enjoy it. It's not a long novel, so hopefully I can finish this one within the next couple days. And my spring break is coming up, so I get 10 days off. So yeah, I'm obsessed with this cover. It's the colors for me. And I do enjoy the fact that so far, this imagery with the serpent keeps popping up because she says all the time her and her husband's are like snakes, like writhing. And let me see if I can find an exact quote, because I saw it and I was like, wow, like great imagery. We hissed at each other whenever we thought the girls couldn't hear. And so they'll say things like, we hissed at each other. There was one I saw somewhere over here. Yeah, it says, the fight always start differently and they always end the same, with us arguing like snakes, hissing as I load the dishwasher or fold laundry, and he grates papers, his pen stabbing the air, both wary of our children sleeping above. We've been doing it for years. Eventually we fall into bed exhausted, weakened by the venom that consumes us. So, I'm enjoying it. Like, it's good. If I were to give this a prediction rating, based off of the first chapter alone, I'd say 4-star range. As of now. Because, you know, like, if you can tell when something is 5 stars automatically, we're not there yet. But also, I didn't give The Last House on Needless Street 5 stars. I gave it 4.5 stars. For me, I didn't like the beginning of The Last House on Needless Street, and it took me a long time to get into the audiobook. So because this is shorter, I'm hoping that will not be the case, but that's just my prediction, and I want to be honest with you guys and upfront. That way you can make a decision. Do you want to spend full money on this? Because I pre-ordered it. I also got an ARC copy, so I'm going to be able to go back and forth between the two when I don't have my physical copy with me. But I will check in with you guys later. What's up? I am like midway through my spring break. Wanted to check in with you earlier, just never got around to it, so I figured I would finally check in with you, considering I finished Sundial Saturday night. It's like Thursday now, so I've had enough time to think about this and really just solidify my wit rating. 4.5 stars to Sundial by Catriona Ward. It deserves 4.5. It is not a 5-star book, mainly because it was just something I couldn't connect to. And I don't know if it was the writing, but I feel like it was more of a plot thing. Like, I just wanted it to go maybe 20 or 30 pages more. I wanted a little bit more character depth from Callie, because I felt like we spent a ton of time with Jack in the past, and Jack recounting her story to Callie, and I just wish that we got more Callie. Like, towards the end, we had a big giant plot twist, and I appreciated several of the plot twists throughout this really tiny book, because wow, Ward is great at plot twist on plot twist on plot twist on plot twist, which was something I had realized in The Last House on Needless Street. This woman could write a really great horror thriller novel and be able to just continue to sucker punch you with, oh, you thought this? No, you thought this. No, you thought that. And I walked away really appreciating Jack's and Rob's backstory. Did I say Jack was recounting this? I meant Rob, sorry. Jack is prevalent in Rob's recounting to Callie. And you know, I appreciated learning more about Rob in the then stories, because I felt like I took so much away from her character dynamic. And her character dynamic with Jack, and the toxicity that lied in between these twins and Jack's secrets. And boy, does Jack have a ton of secrets. But I also was quite shocked to find out how Rob and Irving got together. Because, wow, it makes sense why he is such a monster and an abuser. But now it's like, oh, I get it. You've always been a rich daddy's boy. But now I have, like, extra knowledge about your past through where we find out their connection, which I won't spoil because that was a shocking moment, and I was like, she did not, but she did. And yeah, like that was my main issue. I wanted more Callie. I wanted more interactions and understanding of that pale Callie, which I think we got, and I don't want to spoil it, but I feel like I understand what Ward was saying with the pale Callie character and the connection to Sundial, which I thought was fantastic. I love that. But I wanted more. I wanted more. And I wanted more of this reaction to their reuniting with Annie at the end, which I feel like we needed at least 20 more pages of. I needed more, and that's why I can't give it the full 5 stars. It was so close to being a 5-star read for me because I really enjoyed this. Like, this is a book I just flew through when I would sit down to read. I would read like so much of it. Once I got into the story, I was invested. And so I highly recommend this. I'm settling on a final rating of 4.5 stars. Do I recommend purchasing? Heck yes. Buy yourself a copy. Trigger warnings for animal cruelty. Lots of animal cruelty. Because we're on like a dog farm and they're experimenting on dogs. Won't spoil why, because wowzas, that was a good reveal. Also, there are from the get-go mentions of animals in the neighborhood being found dead, and then Callie puts them on paper and kind of makes a little mirage of their little animal bones. It's a little much. That happens in like the first 10-15 pages, so not really a spoiler, but definitely triggers for animal abuse, child abuse, because she does knock Callie around a lot, and Rob's got some anger in her. Also, spousal abuse, physical assault, almost murder, several points in this book, emotional gaslighting, and also cheating on your spouse. So if any of those are triggers for you, maybe walk into this with caution. But if none of those are triggers for you, fly on in, baby, because this is a wild ride. I am so happy with this 2022 release. Like, great time. Highly recommend. Look at this cover. Beautiful. It actually looks quite nice with my purple walls. So yeah. Other new releases that I've been reading. I got my audio hold for the Book of Cold Cases by Simone St. James, which is also the book club pick for the Smut Salon for Kitty Coulson, and I think also Jordaline Reads. I feel like a lot of people are reading this new release right now. I got this one from Book of the Month. I am about 30-40 pages in. I haven't updated my page count with my audio listening, but it's fascinating. We are following... Oh no! I should like put my phone on a charger. Let me go do that and then I'll be right back. Hey you guys, I have finished the Book of Cold Cases by Simone St. James, and I am pleased to report I gave this book 5 stars. I thought, and I was worried, you guys. I really was like, there's no way it's gonna be good like the Sundown Motel, and I still prefer the Sundown Motel because I just think the vibes are creepier in that one. But this one has a really great haunting element here, especially if you like rich people drama. The rich people drama here is piping, and it's set in the 1970s. So, you know, it's like we got family secrets, we got covered up, and we've got all kind of things that just really tie in a good mystery here. I like the plot, I like the pacing. I didn't love Shay's character a whole lot, but for what she does with the story, I enjoyed that aspect. Is this like a solid 5-star book? Probably not, and I may be like on a 5-star high right now after listening to the audiobook and just loving it so much. But as of right now, I feel like it's 5 stars. I just really enjoyed it. I couldn't stop reading it. I was enthralled with the mystery. I liked the pacing. I liked the spookiness. I liked the atmosphere. I liked the ending a lot, and I didn't feel let down. Like, you know, when you're reading a thriller, you can tell if your thriller ends and you don't like it, or like it ends and it's like, that's it, or, you know, something just doesn't feel right. For me, this book felt good. I listened to the ending and I said, I enjoyed that. It was great. I loved the last chapter. I think the last chapter was so brilliant because we're continuing to kind of show this idea of like, ooh, we have spookiness here. We have things that are creepy going on. And we're kind of like continuing the legacy of the house, which I enjoyed. And I liked the spooky element here. I don't read a ton of mystery thrillers that have supernatural or paranormal things in them. I think the last one I read was a CJ Tudor book. Was it The Other People? And I really liked that book. I really liked the supernatural aspect, and I love the Sundial Motel. I liked that some of Riley Sager's books have the supernatural element that we know isn't actually supernatural, but I just really like how Simone St. James actually incorporates the spooky ooky and the ghosties, and in this case, we had another ghosty, another haunting, just like in the Sundown Motel, and it's never a question of, is this house haunted? From the very beginning of the book, like I had said earlier, it is set up that this house is haunted. And as we continue to progress, it gets more and more deeper into the, yes, it is haunted, but other people will not believe you kind of thing, which adds that extra element of creepiness because the experiences that Shay has towards the very end of the book can't just be talked about because no one will believe her. But I enjoyed this. I loved the character interactions between Beth and Shay. Especially towards the end of the novel where it became quite clear that they had this weird friendship dynamic that it wasn't like healthy or anything, but it was admirable, and I really enjoyed the storytelling aspect that Simone St. James relies on here with these two very broken women who have been put in circumstances of a true crime event that they did not ask to be a part of. Very early on, we know that Beth was almost convicted and accused of being the lady killer, and we eventually find out that Shay has a very traumatic background and past and is connected to another famous case in the town, which I won't spoil in case that's something that you want to be shocked on. But really enjoyed this one. I am surprised I gave it 5 stars because I was so scared that I wasn't gonna like it, but I enjoyed it so much. I definitely recommend this one. Buy a copy, but I would suggest actually seeing if you can get this maybe on Audible or Hoopla, Libby. I use Overdrive for my library, Scribd, whatever you have. See if you can get this because it is so good. I am impressed. I enjoyed it. I hope if you've read it, you enjoyed it too. If you didn't, please tell me why, because I get why people don't like this, because the mystery is revealed halfway, but that doesn't take away from me because there's so much more things that we have to uncover. And I really liked the feminist discussion here on female rage and how people don't think women can do bad things, but we have a very clear-cut woman who is just evil for the sake of being evil, and many times she's asked, why did you do it? And she's like, why do we do anything? Like, why does there have to be a why? I just enjoy doing it. That's why she likes killing people. So it's creepy. It's a good time. And I liked that it stuck to actually having a lady killer, because I was worried that the twist would be that it was a man who was doing it all along. And I'm glad it wasn't. I'm glad that it went in the direction it did. Really enjoyed this. Highly recommend it. Yeah, it's not like a crazy thriller, but it's a good, creepy ghost haunting with a little mystery twist thrown in there. But really, if you like true crime and you like stories that unfold in that aspect, I think that you will enjoy this one. So I recommend the Book of Cold Cases to those readers. I'll check in with you guys later with my Manhunt update. Well, I finished Manhunt. Didn't like the ending. And I think my biggest takeaway from this book, when it comes to my main issue, it's the writing. I made a note, because I finally figured out what was bothering me at some point. And my note says, the writing just feels disjointed and unsequenced. There's no stylistic flow, and it's constant hopping around. So, like, we'll go from character to character, scene to scene, flashback to flashback, and we'll just be thrown into all these different scenarios. And it feels very jarring. And I know this book is meant to be jarring, but it's not jarring in the way that the sequence flows, if that makes sense. It's very much like, we're here, now we're here, we're here, we're here, we're here. And it's like, can we get a little bit of chronological ordering here and sequencing? So I think I'm going to settle with 2.5 stars. Yeah, 2.5 stars feels right. Kind of disappointed because the beginning was really good. Like, it could have been a 5-star. I just didn't like where it went in the second half. And then the third part was decent. It's just, I didn't love it. I'm glad I read it. Don't regret reading it. There is a lot to learn from it, lots to take away. And it's a really good modern splatterpunk novel. It was just the writing. The writing didn't work for me. Like, let's be real. If writing doesn't work for you as a reader, it makes it hard to enjoy a story. And I do think I will pick up something else from Gretchen Felker Martin in the future, because you never know. This may be the start of a really good career for her in horror fiction, which it looks like she writes mainly horror reviews online. So she's definitely got a niche for it. I would like to see some more splatterpunk from her, though. I don't know if I would want to see another post-apocalyptic. I would like to see maybe like a serial killer splatterpunk. I think she would do that really well. And maybe like somewhere in a city, you know, with like big sleazy nightclubs, stuff like that. Like she does a lot of really good stuff as far as talking about sex work, prostitution. Oh, and you should know with splatterpunk, there's normally quite a lot of sex. There is way too much in here. Like, it's like, this is not the time. We're at funerals, y'all. Like, get it together. So if that's something that bothers you, keep that in mind when you're endeavoring into a splatterpunk novel. But recommend it. And I think that's where I'm going to wrap this up. So those are all of the books that I read. I'm settling on 2.5 star for this one. My favorite new release. Gosh, I don't even remember which ones I read. I'll do like a formal wrap up later. Bye. Alright, hey guys. So here is my official wrap up for the first 2020 horror anticipated releases vlog. Really, I just wanted to help you guys decide whether or not these 22 new releases are worth buying. So my top favorite one was Blood on the Tracks Volume 8 by Shuzo Ushimi. You should definitely buy this collection of mangas. They're always so great. Highly recommend. I'm actually gonna change my ranking right now because it's been like a month since I wrapped this up. I can do that. Sundial. I'm going to give this one 4.5 stars finally. I still think it's great. It holds up really well. It's been a month since I've read it, or a little over a month. Still think about it quite often. Really impressed by it. Highly recommend purchasing. Then the Book of Cold Cases by Simone St. James. It's not a 5-star, y'all. I was writing that 5-star finish. It's not a 5-star. It is more like a 4.25 star, which is still a really good rating. I would recommend borrowing this one audiobook wise. I don't think it's a book that you need to purchase. It's more of a borrow book. And then the last one, Manhunt by Gretchen Felker Martin. I ended up finalizing my rating on this and I gave it a 2.5 stars. The writing is what killed it for me. I recommend purchasing it if you are one who wants to support your LGBTQ plus authors. I think it's really important to support our horror authors like that. But I will most likely be donating my copy at some point at the end of the year. However, I accidentally pre-ordered 2 copies of this. So, you know, 1 copy has already been given away. But this is a book that I do not see myself wanting to keep past my end of the year videos. But I am keeping all my 22 releases because I want to do a video at the end of this year updating you. So that is my final thoughts. I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you found it helpful. If you've read these new releases, let me know your thoughts. Please like, comment, and subscribe down below. It would mean a lot to me. I am trying to get my life together with video editing. It's just, it takes a long time for me and I'm not very good at it. But you know, hopefully I'll find what works best. If you have any recommendations for video editing, please let me know. I'd really appreciate it. And I'll see you guys later. Bye.